violence driving the man in our next story will shock you. Danny Martinez was a raving maniac. There's no question about it. But the rage he took to the streets was rooted in his own home.
I was so sick that one time I was on top of a guy, stabbing him. And when the blood come out, I wanted to drink it. If nobody was around, I probably would have, if I had time. That's how sick I was. And then when I stabbed somebody, not to brag, but from inside, it felt good. It was a relief after it was done. It made me feel good inside.
It was like something out of a horror movie, but to Danny Martinez, bloodthirsty violence was a thrill. So what made him so full of hatred? The death of Danny's mother when he was 3 years old was the start of a downward spiral for the whole family. His father was devastated by the tragedy and started drinking to console himself. But soon alcohol took over, leaving Danny and the other children neglected. In the end, relatives stepped in to raise the children. Danny became wild, and when there was trouble, he usually got the blame.
I used to get everybody's whipping. Danny did it. Danny did it. They used to beat me. My cousin used to beat me. My aunt, my grandmother, they all used to whip me. That's all I used to get is whippings. And that's when I got that hate. Like dynamite, I wanted to explode. And anybody get in my face, I'd jump on it.
Danny hated his father, too, blaming him for the way things turned out. As hatred festered inside him, he became cold and ruthless. He didn't care about punishment. He had nothing to live for anyway. Detention halls were his second home, and by the time he reached his 20s, he was serving an 11-year prison sentence.
They thought I was a Sunday puncher. I was a nut, you know, like I never gave them a reason why I stabbed anybody, whatever I did. I never told them nothing.
It was a way of life, survival of the fittest. Danny's philosophy was to be more evil and violent than the next guy. That way, he was sure to stay alive. And what were Danny's thoughts about God?
I seen guys that carried Bibles, and I thought they were weak, sick people. I despised it. Sometimes I spit on them, cursed them.
After many sentences totaling 22 years behind bars, Danny was released from prison in 1978. It was shortly after his release that he received a phone call that would change his life. His sister had been a member of a satanic cult and had fled, fearing she was going to become a human sacrifice. Danny's brother was calling to say that some Christians were going to pray for her, and they'd like Danny to be there to help.
They said, are you going to come? Would you come? I said, yeah, macho, tough guy. I ain't scared. I'll go. Check it out.
When they got to the house, Danny decided to keep a low profile. He couldn't care less about any religious stuff, so he decided to see what else he could gain from the evening.
And I was looking around to see what I could steal, or open a window and come back later. And so I hear a bunch of racket. So I go downstairs, and I look at my sister. Her eyes doesn't open no more. They don't open no more. And a man's voice came out of her mouth. Like I always said, if there's a God, I'll get on my knees. And that voice was just small. And says, you can't hurt me. Don't you know who I am? I said, no, I ain't going for this. So I look around for speakers. This is Hollywood. I ain't going for it. And I grab her arm. Her arm starts pushing me up. The strength. It's not her. I says, this is real. There's a devil. Wow. You know? And they were saying the name of Jesus, loosen, and it would lose its power. I seen both powers. I seen who the loser was. I seen who the winner was. I seen who was more stronger, more powerful. And I says, wow, then I'm serving a loser. I don't want the loser. I want the winner.
That same night, when someone asked him if he wanted to pray to give his life to God, Danny was quick to say yes.
And when I said this prayer, it was like I was carrying a sack of bricks. It was so heavy. I dropped it. And I felt the love that came in my heart. No more hate, no more bitterness, the pride, the drugs, the emptiness, the deep scars. I had a joy. That emptiness was fulfilled. I says, wow, this is what I've been looking for.
For the first time in his life, Danny felt wanted for who he was, not for what he'd done. God's love penetrated his soul, changing his life to the very core.
All the things I've done, it's just like the way I feel. I've been with the Lord a little over 10 years. I feel like I never did those things. I feel that it was a bad dream, just a dream. I said, no, I couldn't have. When God gets a hold of you, you're a new person.
Since Danny put Jesus Christ in the middle of his life, he's not only found the strength to forgive his father, but also lead him to Christ. Today, when Danny looks back on his old life, he says it's hard to believe the terrible things he did. But one thing is certain, he knows what he was saved from.
There was nothing to live for. I thought just death. Only Satan is death. There's no joy, there's no love, but death. But with Christ, there's life. There's something to live for. There's something to go forward. There's a joy. And to tell everybody about Christ. It's not phony. It's real. It's alive.
Now, Danny Martinez and his wife, they're still serving the Lord Jesus Christ. They founded Teen Challenge Ministry in Turlock, California for a while. And then after that, they begun a ministry in Oakland called Project Love, where they minister to the needy on the streets and in jails. And they're hoping they can get a building in downtown Oakland to provide showers, food, and classes for the various street people that they take care of. And the reason for this, because they know now. What did Danny say? I was serving a loser. I wanted the winner. Jesus Christ has won, and he came and won the victory for you.